it was the end of the 70s. KISS were one of the biggest bands in the world, and just 5 years after their debut album, they had managed to release 6 studio albums, 4 solo albums, 2 live albums, and 1 greatest hits compilation. But the musical landscape was changing, so they had to adapt and change their sound. The end result was the album Dynasty. I'm going to give you a little background on the album and how the band submitted demo tapes individually to choose the songs and which song was used to set the tone of the album. And it's not the one you think. I'm going to show you some close-ups of the vinyl, which I bought at a Mexico City street fair, so it has some pretty unique characteristics, like some bilingual song titles. Dynasty is the band's 7th studio album. It was released on May 23rd, 1979, through Casablanca Records. It's kind of a unique album because the band started to move away from hard rock and more into a commercial sound. It's also considered to be their disco album, but that's because they had a big hit with I Was Made for Lovin You. The album was also considered the return of KISS, which is what they called the album and tour, as they had not released a proper studio album since 2 years prior, which for the 70s was a long time, but even still, 1 year before that, in 1978, they released 4 solo albums, as well as their second live album, Alive 2. This album is also unique as the members all worked separately on demos before getting together to record the album. So, for example, Chris submitted a 4-song demo. One of them, Dirty Livin, was put on the album, and 2 others would end up on his solo album from 1980 called Out of Control, while the 3rd track remains unreleased officially but has been floating around on bootlegs. Same can be said for the other members, where some songs were put on Dynasty and the others were either unreleased or they resurfaced elsewhere. And speaking of Dirty Livin, that song was written back in 1971, and that song was used as the basis for the tone of the album, and that led them to choose Vinny Poncia as their producer. So I'm going to be showing the album, but the way I like to do is I like to film it separately so I can show close-ups, so I'm not like fumbling all over the place and taking everything out and everything's going all over the place. So I'm going to be doing that next. Then after that, I'm going to go through the song. We're going to be taking a look at the vinyl record now. This is an older copy that I bought, so it does have some wear and tear on it, as you can see in the corners here. I've always liked this cover. I think it just brings back lots of memories. I think many years ago, I attempted to do the makeup. I was maybe like 9 years old or something like that. That's why I remember this album very well. But I really like the cover. It just has all their faces, and it's probably one of their best covers. So let's look at the back cover now. So this is really cool. This is where you see some of the more unique characteristics. So you can see it right here. Estéreo in Spanish shows it right there. And here are the bilingual song titles, which is Nací para Amarte, and 2000 Man is Hombre Dos Mil, and Sure Know Something, Sé Algo de Seguro, and Dirty Livin is La Mala Vida. And you can see the same with the songs on side 2, where you see the bilingual song titles. And you're going to notice that some of these song titles have footnotes, and they go down here, so you can see. I guess these are just music rights or the publishing rights or something like that. Here's some other notes where it was recorded, Electric Lady Studios in New York City. And here's some other liner notes. These tell you who the songwriters are. And you're going to notice that he wrote all the songs by himself, except for the cover, but Paul Stanley had help by Vinny Poncia and Desmond Child. Same with Peter Criss, and Gene Simmons had someone else named Howard Marks help him with charisma, but Ace kind of went at it alone, so that's pretty cool. Here's the address to the KISS Army fan mail. I don't know if that still exists, so who knows what would happen if you ever attempted to send a letter there. And here's some more interesting stuff. Here's like a little thing that's on Mexican vinyls. El Disco es Cultura, meaning records mean culture. And here is a copyright notice here. And here it shows where the producer is. And here's some more Spanish. Just basically means made in Mexico. And this is just the label and Casablanca. So let's take a look at the inside. Okay, so here's the vinyl, black vinyl, and here's the label in the middle. Now this one, actually I don't remember what the original conversion is because I haven't like seen it in so many years. I had it when I was a kid. But as you can see, the same thing, the song titles in Spanish with an English translation. Right. So that's pretty unique. And then it has the other thing, and it has a photo of the band right here. And the other side, it was actually side 1, but I had it backwards. It has the same thing, the song titles in Spanish with the English translation and the Casablanca logo. I remember Casablanca Records having a different sticker in the middle, but again, it's been a while since I've seen an American version. So that's all. Let me move on with the video. Let's talk about the songs. First song is I Was Made for Loving You. It's their big hit, probably one of their most recognizable songs. I know here in Mexico, it's by far their most popular song. It's often played on the radio at parties. You can still hear it wherever you go. It's considered to be their disco song, but I still think it has a rock sound as well. Paul on vocals, and written by Paul as well as Desmond Child and Vinny Poncia. I still enjoy listening to the song, even though I've heard it many times over the years. There is 2,000 Men. It's actually a cover song written and recorded by the Rolling Stones. It was performed by Ace. He does lead vocals and played all guitars and bass on the song. I really like this version. I would even say that I like it better than the original. It's just a straightforward rock song, and that's really why I like it. This is a song called Sure Know Something. This was written by both Paul Stanley and Vinny Poncia. Paul is on lead vocals. It's more of a pop song leaning towards disco. I like the bass guitar in the intro, but otherwise, I think it's a decent song. It's kind of catchy, but one of the more radio-friendly types of songs. And there's the Peter Criss song, Dirty Livin. This was more of an R&B or disco-sounding track. I always thought of this song as one that sounds like something from his 1978 solo album that had more of an R&B sound. This was also the only Peter Criss song in the album, as he was pretty much out of the band at this point. Even on the next album, he was credited but didn't play at all. Side 2 opens up the album with a song called Charisma, written by Gene Simmons, and this is one of the harder rockers. I think this could be considered to be a typical KISS song, or sounds like something you would hear from one of their albums in the 70s. I've always liked it as Gene has these deeper vocals, gives it more of a harder edge. So this is a Paul Stanley song called The Magic Touch. It's a pretty catchy song. It has more of a 70s pop sound, but it's very memorable. It's the kind of song that has a chorus that sticks in your head. So for that reason, I've always liked it. There's the Ace Frehley song called Hard Times, which is another good one. It's a fun song. He tells stories about growing up in a rough neighborhood and going through difficult times when he was younger. So it's kind of an autobiographical song. And another one I think it's really good. I think Ace has some of the best songs on the album. There's a Gene Simmons song called X-Ray Eyes. It's a pretty catchy pop song. There's a little bit of a rock sound, and another very memorable song that I really like. The final song is Save Your Love by Ace Frehley. Maybe my least favorite song by Ace on the album, but with that being said, it's still as good as many of the other songs. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this album? Do you have it in your collection? In the meantime, please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do physical media content on this channel, and I will see you on the next one.